Okay, so a coin fair, I don't know why they should switch up, fair coin is flipped 3 times. So you got this coin, now you're flipping 3 times and they're gonna ask us a whole bunch of questions about it. All right, well, how do you handle flipping a coin 3 times? Well, just like 2, but you got 3 levels of branching. Let me come down here and try to draw it out for us. So we're gonna go head on the first flip, or tails on the first flip. Second flip is head or tails, head or tail. And then the third flip comes after that, head or tail, head or tail. It's getting a little crowded. Head or tail, head or tail. All right, and then so this is the third flip. Back here is the second flip. Back here is the first flip. And then after all that, we've got the results. Of all these flips. Results. So head, well here, let me do it better, like fitting with the colors. So it's easier to see what I'm talking about. So this will be head, head. Tail. And next will come head, tail, head, tail, and last one, head, tail, head, tail. Okay, so there's the results. And remember, it's always as we move from left to right, like pick like this, like how do we get head, tail, tail here, for example? I went head, tail, tail. Head, tail, tail. See how I move through the tree? Head, tail, tail. That results in head, tail, tail. So all we're doing is we're moving from left to right through the tree, and every branching is a coin flip. So the first flip is a head, second is a tail, third is a tail, head, tail, tail. All right, now the probabilities go on the branches. What are the probabilities? Well, all these are half, right? Because the chance of heads is always a half, chance of tail is always a half. So I'm just going to put halves on all these little branchings, because every time we flip a coin, the chance we're going to get heads is a half, chance we're going to get tails is a half. Okay, and so what do we get? A half times a half times a half, which is an 1/8. You always multiply as you go from left to right through the table. See, it's a half times a half times a half. Head, half times half times half, 1/8. And all the rest are also going to be an 8 for the very same reason. They're all a half times a half times a half. Now, sometimes when we make trees, the probabilities will be different. We'll see that in some other problems. But for now, they're all halves everywhere. So they're all going to be a half times a half times a half. We're multiplying. Remember, we're not adding those fractions. We're multiplying. You're timesing as you go from left to right. So 1 times 1 times 1 on the top is 1. 2 times 2 times 2 on the bottom. 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8. So they're all 1/8. So there we go. Now we're ready to answer the questions. What is the probability of getting 3 heads? 3 heads, right there, 1/8. So the chance of that is 1/8. What's the probability of 2 heads and 1 tail, any order? Oh, okay. So that's a little bit of a different question. 2 heads, 1 tail, any order. Well, here's 2 heads, 1 tail. Here's 2 heads, 1 tail. And here's 2 heads, 1 tail. Two heads, 1 tail, any order. So you notice that there's 3 of them, so that's going to be what? 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, 3/8. Is that making sense? 2 heads and 1 tail in any order. There's actually 3 different ways to do that. Makes sense, right? The tail can be last or middle or first, and the other 2 heads. It's going to be 2 heads and 1 tail, and 3 different ordering possibilities. So you just add up the 3 probabilities, 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 3/8. The next question, 1 head, 2 tails, any order. So now it's 1 head, 2 tails. So let's look for that. 1 head, 2 tails. So here we go. 1 head, 2 tails. 1 head, 2 tails. 1 head, 2 tails. One head, 2 tails. Any order. Same thing, huh? 1/8, 1/8, 1/8, 3/8. 3/8 there. And final question, what is the probability of getting 3 tails? Well, it's right here. 3 tails is just 1/8. And so there we go. Using the tree, again, when you make the tree, you go from left to right, and write down all the possibilities. 3 layers of branching because there's 3 flips. This is how we do probability problems in which one action comes after another. Like one coin flip, then another, then another. Each new action is a stage of branching in the tree. And then we just multiply from left to right for the probabilities. And then when they ask us questions, if one of their questions includes a few of the ends, you add those up. So there we go.